welcome all. Whether this is your first Sunday with us or you've been joining for 5 years that we've been around, we are grateful that you found us tonight and that we found each other for this time of spiritual community and to care for one another, to learn together, and to sing together, to pray together, and to prepare ourselves for the work that God calls us to set it right again, to realize a world of abundance where all can thrive. Tonight, we will be led by the Deaconess community of the ELCA. These committed, fierce, brilliant, compassionate sisters have dedicated their lives to being active agents with God in restoring the world that God promises. They have inspired me over the years and many others in their commitment and in their loving kindness, their joy, and the strength of their community and faith. So tonight is Sunday, but we will be talking about Thursday, and the sisters will help lead us through this reflection on Holy Thursday. This is part of our season of struggle and lament, where we have been meditating on the final week each day of Jesus's life, following a study that Marcus Borg and Dominic Crossan wrote in their book entitled The Final Week of Jesus. So each of these days during the last week of Jesus' life hold deep insights about the way, the path, the road that was revealed through Jesus's life, his ministry, his suffering, his death, and ultimately resurrection. This way leads direct confrontation with a system of domination. It leads to violence and to death, but it also leads to clarity about leadership and faith and how we get organized to fight meaningfully against regimes of domination and division and violence, and fight for God's promise of justice, love, and abundance for all. So Borg and Crossan's study draws primarily from the Gospel of Mark, which was a wartime gospel written about 60 or so years after the death of Jesus, when the disciples and the movement was in disarray, and they anticipated the forthcoming brutality of the Roman army. And this sense of movement under attack, worsening conditions, and the ongoing threat of violence is all too familiar in these times. And reinforce the importance for us in coming together as a movement community today. So a lot happens on Thursday. The day before, we will remember Wednesday, Jesus was anointed for burial, and we witnessed both the first model disciple, the unnamed woman who anointed Jesus, and we were also reminded of the many ways that we struggle to be disciples, to be followers of the way. Now, Thursday begins with the preparation of the Passover dinner, a final meal with Jesus, which recalls the story of Passover, that is, of the liberation from Pharaoh and another empire of violence. But also, it underscores the core principles of the Jesus movement, of the strategy that Jesus has been teaching, one that is grounded in a beloved community coming together, organizing around our basic needs, the struggle for survival, for food, and for housing, and for health. And it also is a time of reflection on the vision that they are striving for as a community, one where all are welcome and all who are present are provided for, all of which stands in really stark and dangerous opposition to the empire that surrounds them. So as the story continues on Thursday, the forces of domination and empire that surround Jesus and the disciples is clearly threatened by this truth and the growing consciousness of the people, the growing energy of this movement. And that empire closes in Thursday night, tipped off by Jesus's betrayer. The temple guards, under the cover of night and out of the view of the public, bring Jesus in front of a council of religious leaders, accuse him of heresy, and condemn him to death. And as the day ends, Jesus's fate has been sealed, the disciples have been scattered, and the movement seems to be at a very low point. So that's just a summary of where we're at Thursday, and to help us lead us through tonight, we have many powerful sisters from the Deaconess community. So I'm going to pass it to them